Sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Oh, good morning. I'm Christopher Bunbury.
Mr. Bunbury, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Bunbury, or I'm sorry, Mr. Dutre, would you place your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Sean Dutre.
All right, sir. Mr. Bunbury, you have two cases, or not actually two cases. You've got 4 cases out of Osceola County that we're going to resolve today with a plea, and 1 case in Orange County also with a plea. Is that your understanding, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to start with the Osceola County cases. The agreements are as follows. In 20 CT 231, you are going to be pleading no contest to DUI. You will be sentenced to 15 days in the Orange County Jail with whatever credit for time you have served. You will be placed on probation for the time less that you've been in jail. It says 12 months, but it won't be for 12 months. It'll be whatever time you served in jail. Subtracted from that, 100 hours of community service, you can buy out half. You have to do the level 2 DUI school, the victim awareness panel. There will be a $1,500 fine, 10-day vehicle impound, a 1-year driver's license suspension, 1-year interlock device, the alcohol evaluation and treatment, random testing. You're not to consume any alcohol or go to any bars. And then in 20 CT 232, which is the refusal, it's an adjudication of guilt, 15 days in the Orange County Jail. And 20 CT 233, which is a duelist, driving with license suspended, you'll be adjudicated guilty, 15 days in jail with credit for time served. And in 20 MM 190, the resisting officer without violence, you'll be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 15 days in jail with credit for whatever time you have served. There's court costs associated with each case, and all of those will run concurrent to one another. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And then you also have a violation of probation in Orange County in 18 CT 8299, and the agreement would be that you are going to admit that you violated your probation, sentenced to 45 days in jail with credit for whatever time you have served, and your probation will be revoked and terminated. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Dutre about these cases?
Yes.
Has he been able to answer all of your questions?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. In 2018 CT 8299, I will accept your plea. Was Mr. Bunbury previously adjudicated in that case?
He was.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I'll maintain the adjudication, revoke and terminate your probation, sentence you to 45 days in jail. What's the credit that Mr. Bunbury has?
35 days.
Sentence you to 35 days, or with 45 days with credit for 35 days time served. And then in the Osceola County cases, I will also accept your plea, and in 20 MM 190, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to, does he have the same credit on those cases?
14 days.
He has 14?
14 days.
Sentence you to 15 days in jail with credit for 14 days time served. Can I see the court costs that I can do? Yeah. And in that case, sentence you to 15 days in jail with credit for 14 days time served. Mr. Bunbury, you're going to have to pay court costs in all of these cases. They will be detailed on the order that you're going to receive today. You're going to need to report to the clerk of the court in Osceola County to set up a payment plan within 30 days of your release from custody.
Okay.
Okay, and they'll be able to get you on a payment plan, and they'll be able to put all the costs together that you can pay as you go. Okay? Does he have 14 days for all of these Osceola County cases?
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
And then in 20 CT 233, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 15 days in jail with credit for 14 days time served. And in 20 CT 232, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 15 days with credit for 14 days time served. And in 20 CT 231, which is the DUI, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 15 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 14 days time served. You'll be placed on 371 days of probation. You'll have to do 100 hours of alternative community service. You are able to buy out half. You need to complete the level 2 DUI school, the victim awareness program. You will be assessed a $1,500 fine. You'll have to do the 10-day vehicle impound, a 1-year driver's license suspension, a 1-year interlock device. You need to complete an alcohol evaluation and any recommended treatment. You'll also be subjected to random drug testing. You're not to go to any bars or consume any alcohol. And again, you'll have to pay court costs associated with that.
And I forgot, the case number 231 only?
No,
Or is that all cases?
all the cases. And
Okay.
I've detailed what the exact
Okay.
court costs are there for Osceola County.
Yes.
Like I said, Mr. Burnwright, within 30 days of your release from custody, report to Osceola County. They'll be able to put you on a payment plan for all of the court costs.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions or anything else?
No, it's just, I know it's only one day, but the 15 days credit for 14 is consecutive to the VOP, so I guess he has one more day to do on the Osceola after he finishes the Orange.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, so all of the Osceola County cases are to run concurrent to one another and then and consecutive to the Orange County VOP.
Correct.
So he's got 10 days left on the Orange
Yep.
County case because he had
Yeah.
35.
Less his game.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dutre. Anything else?
Good.
That's it.
All right, so you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor. All
Any
right.
of those happen?
All right.
And then Ms. Geary,
Yes, Your Honor.
did I give you your paper? With
Oh, this one?
your court cost on it? So did I give you yours back?
Yeah. I have
Oh,
it.
okay, good.
And Your Honor, we're doing Mays now,
Yes.
and I believe that might be the one that I need to sign. I know I saw one last evening
I don't see,
on the VOP in Mays. There
Yes.
is a place for the Assistant State Attorney.
there is. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ms. Bush, you can just approach, it's here on the end of the bench.
Thank you.
And sign it when you're ready. All right. Ma'am, good morning. Please raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, please state your name and date of birth.
Tiaji Mays, 12/31/1995.
All right, Ms. Mays, you have two cases that we're going to be resolving this morning. And Ms. Geary, would you just place your appearance on the record?
Yes, Julie Gary on behalf of Ms. Mays.
Thank you. Ms. Mays, you have case number 20MM607, which is an Orange County case. It is a petty theft. It's my understanding that you would wish to withdraw your previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of no contest. You will be adjudicated guilty, given credit for time served, and you must complete the impulse control class within 90 days of your release from custody. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you'd like to accept that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you also have case number 16 CF 3667, which is a Palm Beach County violation of probation, which was approved by Judge Johnson. The agreement is that you will be adjudicated guilty, or the adjudication of guilt will be reaffirmed. You're going to have your probation revoked and terminated. You'll be sentenced to 60 days in jail with credit for 60 days time served. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what you'd like to do today?
Yes.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to speak with your lawyer about these cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Was your lawyer able to answer all of your questions?
Yes.
Has anything been promised to you other than what we've discussed here in open court today?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
In the Palm Beach County case, Ms. Geary, did you have an opportunity to review the score sheet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, do you have any objections to the score sheet?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. In the Orange County case, I will accept your plea, ma'am, adjudicate you guilty. How many days does Ms. Mays have?
She has 75 days in.
Sentence you to 75 days in jail with credit for 75 days time served. You will have to complete the impulse control class within 90 days of your release from custody, and you'll have to provide proof to the clerk of the court. So you'll just submit that paperwork to the clerk. You will have to pay court costs as well. Your court costs are going to be due by September 30th of 2021 in the
Okay.
Orange County case, okay? And then in the Palm Beach County case, I will accept your admission to violating your probation, revoke and terminate your probation, sentence you to she has 75 days on that case as well? Okay, sentence you to 75 days in jail with credit for 75 days time served. And in that case, you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing as well. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, anything else, Ms. Geary?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I don't, and I don't think Jill found out last time. Like, we emailed the clerk there, and I'll ask her. I'm sure she's listening as well, so. But just
I'll
put court
hold
costs
on.
for now, yeah.
Okay.
But I think that's the one that we had reached out to the clerk, and we didn't hear back.
Thanks. Judge, that's all I have. May I be dismissed?
Yes, you may. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you, of course.
Starting with the Spanish cases next?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Theodore Leal, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has been previously sworn.
Thank you.
And Judge, the interpreter needs to log in which jail courtroom.
Courtroom BRC 1.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. There we go.
Sí, 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 lo escucho.
Interpreter is connected to the podium, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Mi nombre es Walfred Humberto López Pérez.
My name is Wilfred Abel Humberto Perez.
Is it Lopez or Perez?
López Pérez.
Lopez Perez.
Got it, okay. Sir, you have two cases this morning. These are out of St. Lucie County for violation of probation related to a DUI and driving without a valid driver's license. At this time, your bond is set at none. I'm going to appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you, to help you coordinate with St. Lucie County. I will reach out to the judge in that county to see if they'd like to set a bond in your case. And you can talk to the public defender about other options you may have, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. What's case number, Your Honor?
10 CT 1679 and 10 CT, they're the same. That's the case number.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Good morning, tell me your name, please.
Sí, Brian Quiñones.
Yes, Brian Quinones.
Mr. Quiones, this is 20MM 845. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you speak English?
No.
No? Okay. Mr. Interpreter, would you interpret over the PA for me and help with the
Yes, Your
victim? Okay.
No problem.
Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Sonia Martinez.
Sonia Martinez.
Ms. Martinez, do you want to have contact with your husband?
Señora Martínez, ¿usted quiere tener contacto con su esposo?
Yo tengo 2 hijos con él. So, como siempre voy a tener que tener contacto con él por mis hijos.
Well, I have 2 children with him, so I'm always going to have contact with him because of the children.
Do you want to have contact with him outside of the children?
¿Quiere tener contacto con usted fuera o independientemente de lo que tiene que ver con los niños?
Sí.
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
¿Usted le tiene temor a él?
No.
No.
Do you have any concerns about your safety or your children's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
Si yo le permitiera que ustedes tuvieran contacto, ¿tiene alguna inquietud o preocupación en cuanto a la integridad física suya o la integridad física de sus niños?
No.
No.
Have there been previous instances of violence between the two of you?
¿Ha habido incidencias de violencia previamente entre ustedes dos?
No, es la primera vez.
No, it's the first time.
All right. Ms. Bush, did you have any questions?
Pregunta a Fiscal Bush.
No, Your Honor.
Anything from the
No, su
defense?
señoría.
No, Your Honor.
Defensa, no, su señoría.
Mr. Quiones, at this time, you are not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Martinez. Do you understand what that means?
Señor Quiñones, entonces, de ahora en adelante no va a tener ningún contacto con hostilidad con la señora Martínez. ¿Entiende a qué me estoy refiriendo?
Yes.
Yes.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Y se le prohíbe que tenga armas de fuego o cualquier tipo de arma.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
En estos momentos le voy a conceder libertad provisional.
Do you have any questions?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta?
No.
No.
Ma'am, did you have any questions?
Señora, ¿tiene usted alguna pregunta? No.
All right, thank you.
Gracias.
Is that the only Spanish case? Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, that's the only Spanish case we have today.
We have one
You're
more.
very welcome.
Oh, we do, wait, I guess we have one more.
Still here, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name.
Yo me llamo Juan Manuel Cáceres Ballester.
My name is Juan Manuel Cáceres Ballester.
Cáceres Ballester.
Cáceres Ballester.
Sir, you were here for a case out of Osceola County. It is a violation of probation related to the lesser included offense of sale and delivery of marijuana. Your bond at this time is set at none, sir. I will appoint the public defender to represent you to help you coordinate with Osceola County. Thank you.
Yo. Ya.
Your Honor, just to confirm, Your Honor, is this case 16 CF 4530?
Yes,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. Should the interpreter make an announcement, Your Honor, or that would be the last person?
Sí.
That's the last person.
Tengo cuestión.
I'm sorry, what, sir?
Yo tengo una cuestión. El tiempo ese yo lo cumplía. Yo lo estoy haciendo es un provecho.
I have a question. The time that I was supposed to do, I already did that time, and what I do have now is probation.
Right. It's alleged that you have violated your probation.
Ya que yo no tengo nada. Yo llevo un año que salí y un año que llevo preso.
No, I did not violate anything. I've been out for a year, and I was in jail for a year.
Sir, that's something you're going to have to talk with your lawyer about. I don't have any information about the facts of your violation of probation. It's an Osceola County case, and I don't have that information.
Y este tablete que tengo yo, el de China este que tengo yo. Mira, la prueba esta que tengo yo, que por eso estoy en cajón.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, the interpreter is not really understanding what the defendant's trying to say. It's not intelligible.
Sir, you're going to need to talk with your lawyer about the issues that
Sí,
you
pero no, pero esto tengo que conversarlo yo aquí.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Porque yo tengo que ver esta semana que me tengo que dar
We're
de diálisis.
finished, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dexter.
Oh, ya.
Thank you, Mr.
Yo no
Interpreter.
quiero para que viene uno.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
And that is the last one, correct?
It is.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. Did he disconnect? Good, okay. Good morning, your name?
Adam Easley, ma'am?
Mr. Easley, you were here in 20 MO 980. You were arrested for open container. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Easley?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
Mr. Easley, did you want to accept the offer?
That means time served, ma'am?
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court this morning? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
In a sense, I don't know what to do due to the fact that the actual case, they're charging me with a case because someone else by the name of Mr. Hendricks, if you can read the paperwork, was in possession of an alcohol container, and now they're assuming because they locked me up. That's what it says. So I don't know what to do.
Here's what I'll tell you about that. So you have two choices today. You can either enter a plea because you think it's in your best interest to do so and you want to accept the state's offer, or you can not accept the state's offer and you can contest the charges. You'll have to come back to court on another day.
Would I be released on my own recognizance if I didn't take the plea, or how does that go?
Yes. You want to contest the charges?
If I can get released on my own, because I'm.
Well, I don't know what other, does he have any other holds?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll release you on your own recognizance. You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
So that they know how to get in touch with you, and you have to appear at all your court dates.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may we verify that the address listed on the affidavit is a correct address?
Sure. Mr. Easley,
Yes, ma'am.
what's your address?
18 North Terry.
Okay. Can you get mail there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, my mail goes to the general, they say they have a general delivery downtown at the post office. That's where my mail's going now supposedly, because I just went to the post office the other day.
Okay, what's 600 Lindell Boulevard in
That's
Delray?
just my ID, and it's not accurate.
Okay. So you have a general delivery?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be really important for you to stay in contact with your public defender so that you know exactly when you need to be in court and how you're going to appear.
All right, no problem.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Jamaica Denson.
Ms. Denson, you have two cases this morning. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. In 20 MM 7064, you were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. That case is providing the probable cause for the violation of probation in 18 CF 10289. In that case, your bond is going to be set at none. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, ma'am. Thank you.
So both of them going to be no bond?
No, on the new case, the bond is going to be $500.
Okay.
Okay?
So I'll be coming, because when I went to see pretrial, he told me it's up to the probation officer within 5 days. So I got in contact with my probation officer, and she was willing to reinstate me.
So that's something that you're going to need to raise with Judge Whitehead when you see him. I don't have any of that information today, ma'am. Judge Whitehead can also talk to you. You can talk to him about a bond at that time, and then maybe your probation officer will have given him some additional information.
And do you know exactly what day I'll be going to court?
I do not. It's usually in 7 to 10 days from the date you come to first appearance.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Gerlinda Ervelis.
Ma'am, you are here in 20 CF 11799. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery and battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms.
Okay.
Bush, were you asking to be heard as to bond on count one?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Ervelis, you are not to have any contact with your sister. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm gonna set bond on count one.
What was that?
I'm setting your bond.
Okay.
Bond on count one, I'm gonna set at 1,500. Bond on count two is 100. I'm not gonna take any action on the Osceola County notice to appear case. Ms. Ervelis, do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Neil Heflin.
All right, how about Mr. Gerke?
He's mental health, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm sorry, sir, could you please tell me your name again? I'm sorry, I'm speaking to,
Mr. Jordan. I mean, Jordan. The judge is addressing.
Sorry, Your Honor.
that's okay. Tell me your name again.
My name, Tom Jurgens.
Jurgens, thank you. I threw away that piece of paper on accident. Mr. Jurgens, in this case for Mr. Gerke, he is not able to come to court. Did you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him in 20 CF 11801. He was arrested for battery on a person 65 years of age or older. There is probable cause. He's not to have any contact with the victim. He's to maintain a separate residence. He's not to possess any weapons or firearms. gonna set bond at $2,500. All right, Mr. Heflin, good morning. You're here in 20 CF 10847. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and for battery domestic violence. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered this morning?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Good morning, your name?
I'm sorry?
Tell me your name, please.
Ian Santaella?
Sir, this is 20 CF 11792. You were arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, and for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning. Ma'am, you have to look at me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, you have to keep your eyes over here, okay? Thank you. Please state your name.
Brenda Bayram.
What is it?
Brenda Bayram.
Ms. Barron, please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Barron, I also need to have you keep your mask up, please. Thank you very much. Ma'am, do you want to have any contact with Mr. Santella?
Huh?
Do you want to have contact with Mr. Santella?
Not if he's going to act the way that he acted yesterday.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Bush, did you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Jurgens?
Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, you're not to have any contact with Ms. Bayron. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
Just how do I get my clothes from the house?
You can return to the house one time with the police to get your things. You'll call the non-emergency number and they'll explain to you exactly what you need to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
Bianca Bonilla.
Ms. Bonilla, you're here in 20 MM 7073. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered this morning?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, thank you. Thank you. No problem. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Atlas Bronson.
Mr. Bronson, this is 20 MM 7075. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Valerie Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Yeah.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, do you want to have contact with Mr. Bronson? No?
I do need to let you know that I had moved in with him in the apartment, and I got all of my things that I had in the apartment, so he can go back into his apartment. I have a key to his car and a key to the house. Judge Carter, I do want to say this is the first time that we ever had an incident like this. And more importantly, I just needed to get my things out the house. I don't really want him to be charged or prosecuted because he's never done this to me before. It was just a very bad argument, and we have both pushed and shoved each other previously, but he has never busted me in my mouth. So for me to have a mouth busted is not, that's the beginning signs of something. But he is not the type of man that normally would do that to me. I've been with him for over almost 2 years, and we've had a very good relationship. I don't want any harm or danger. Yesterday, I just needed to get my things out, and he was very irate. And my family is here. I am actually going back to Philadelphia because I'm from Philly until I can find a place to live to come back here to Florida. So I just wanted you to know that he's not that type of a man that I feel fearful. We have had a very good relationship. Yesterday, it just went beyond what it typically would be, but he has been a very good boyfriend to me.
Okay. But you do not want to have contact with him?
Well, I would say this. There's some things that we have that we need to exchange. I don't fear for my life, but I do want our relationship over.
Okay. So I understand what you're saying, but do you want to be able to have contact with him to be able to resolve whatever issues you need?
Yes, well, we probably will have to have contact because we lived together.
Right.
So there's some things that, we need to make sure, I want to make sure that it's exchanged.
Okay. All right. I understand. And with respect to your desire about the case, whether you want it to move forward, the state attorney's office will contact you, and you'll be able to talk with them about what your thoughts are on the case.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am. Ms. Bush, did you have any questions for Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Anything, Mr. Dragan?
questions, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Bronson, you are not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Thomas. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you will need to maintain a separate residence. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered?
No, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Thomas, anything else?
I have his key to the truck and a key to the house because I needed to lock the door.
Okay.
So I just need to know how to get that to him. My son just so happened to be out of town and he's here with me.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that he has all of his possessions.
Right. So what I ordered is he's not to have any hostile contact with you, which means he can't argue with you, act aggressively toward you in any way. So you can have contact with one another so that you can provide him his car key, the house key, or whatever other items y'all need to exchange, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Jada Eubanks.
Miss Eubanks, you are here in case number 20MM844. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, Judge?
Please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right. Please state your name.
John Eubanks.
All right. And Mr. Eubanks, you are Jada's dad, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you want to have contact with her?
I love my daughter and I want to have contact with her, but I wrote a statement so you can get an understanding of how we're feeling and where we're at.
Sure. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. My name is John Eubanks. Jada is my daughter. My wife Jamie is dealing with some serious health issues, and she's currently at the doctor's appointment right now, or she would be here with me. We love and support Jada, but the deputy who responded to our home made the right call by taking her into custody. Jada needs help, and hopefully today can start that process. Until just recently, Jada has been a college student and was working as the social media director at the company my wife and I founded and operate. Over the past few months, Jada has simply unraveled. We know she has been struggling emotionally for several years now. We've tried on numerous occasions to get her into counseling, but things have now spiraled out of control. I have no idea if this is behavioral or mental. Jada has become wildly unpredictable and emotional. She swings between bouts of arguing and anger, and what we think is possibly depression. She has made a series of terrible, impulsive decisions over the past month, lashing out at family, friends, and not getting along with co-workers at times, not remembering her actions the next day. She has traveled across the country to be with a brand new boyfriend, breaking up with the boyfriend, and quitting her job in an emotional meltdown in a public venue. Everything seemed to culminate on Monday night. I don't know how else to put it except to say that Jada was simply unable to get a hold of herself. She ended up screaming uncontrollably and ultimately lashing out at me. I'm heartbroken that she's arrested, but the deputy who responded to our home took the right action. Your Honor, today I respectfully ask you for help. Please Baker Act Jada. I refer her to get an assessment to see if something is emotionally, mentally wrong with her, or if this is just behavior. Jada has mentioned on multiple occasions suicide. I don't know if that's just to get us to respond or not. Especially after this episode, I believe she is a danger to herself. I would also ask that she be considered for a domestic violence diversion program so she can avoid having a record. This is her first offense, and I don't want her to have a record. I want her to get help if she needs help. More than anything, I want Jada to have a life filled with happiness, achievement, and self-worth. As sad as today is, I am praying this will actually be the start of a new chapter for Jada.
Thank you, Mr. Eubanks. And thank you for coming today and for taking the time to put those thoughts together. I think that's had a large effect on Jada as I've watched her in court this morning, and I know how difficult that was for you to do that and share that. At this point in the case, I have limited things that I can use, limited tools that I can use to help you. But what I do have is, we do have a program called the Mental Health Pretrial Release Program. And that is something where she would be linked up with a case manager. Jada, you would be linked up with a case manager. You would be offered some services. They would certainly do an assessment to see if what your dad's saying is true. You know if those things are true. They can link you to counseling. They can link you to potentially if you need any sort of medication. You may not. I don't know. But other services that they can try to help you with in the community to get you back on track. Is that something that you would be interested in doing?
I just want to go home though.
You what?
Yes, I just want to go home with my family though.
I understand. But would you want to participate in a program like that? Do you think you need those services?
I mean, I think I definitely need counseling.
Okay.
And I've told my parents that, and I think that if we all went, that would be good. But it's I just feel like I was not physically attacked, but looked at differently because of I do struggle with depression and.
Okay.
But yeah, I do want some kind of help with my depression and mental illness.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
Yes, sir?
She has nowhere to go. She lives at home.
Do you want her to come back to your house?
She has nowhere to go. We love her.
Sure.
And
Are you,
we want
do you
her,
have
but
any?
We don't want there to be any hostile or anything in the house.
Sure. Do you have any concerns about your safety or your wife's safety if she were to
No.
come back to the
No.
house?
No.
No. Are there any other kids in the house?
No.
Okay. Mr. Eubanks, I'm not trying to dive too much into your personal business, but is Jada on your health insurance? Do you have health
Yes.
insurance? Okay. So you have the ability to get counseling through your health insurance?
Yes.
Okay. I would certainly offer you the mental health pretrial release program, and I don't know that it's something that you couldn't do later, but there's a screening process that has to take place, and it doesn't happen it won't be done today.
Okay.
So she does qualify for our regular pretrial release program, which I will release her on. I think it's appropriate to do so. And I think, Jada, you can talk some about what the issues are that you have, and they maybe have some referrals that they might be able to provide you. But certainly, I think you can, through your health insurance company, get the services that may be provided through the mental health pretrial release program anyway, and it will allow her to be released today. Okay? So Jada, you're not to have any hostile contact with your dad. Do you understand what that means? Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Okay? Anything else, Mr.
And
Eubanks?
this is also her mom. She goes back and forth with her mom a lot too.
Okay, so I don't have the authority to order anything with respect to her mom because she's not a listed victim in this particular case.
Okay.
But I think, Jada, you understand, right, what
Yes.
the expectations are and what the orders are?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. Ms. Bush, anything?
Your Honor, just a question for Mr. Eubanks. I thought I heard him say that he wanted the letter to go to the state attorney's office.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I wasn't sure.
No,
Okay.
I didn't say it.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Eubanks?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. Jada, you're very, very lucky to have a dad like you do. All right? Thank you.
I love you, Jada.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Quintez Haynes.
Mr. Haynes. Sir, you are here in case number 20MM485. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence and battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Can Mr. Haynes be placed on pretrial release? I don't see why he didn't qualify.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Haynes, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
All right, I have Miss Willett.
Yes.
And how about Mr. Willett?
Miss Willett.
Right, but Wendell, right?
Yeah, that's my husband, yes.
Correct. Ma'am, let me ask you this first before we bring him out. Do you want to have contact with your husband?
Yeah, I want to drop the charges.
Okay, just a second. Can we bring him out? Christine, I'm going to start with you. You're here in 20MM 7077. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Willett, do you want to have contact with your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you guys live together?
No.
Do you have children together?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
2.
Who do the kids live with?
Who do they look like?
With? Oh, who do they live with?
With her.
Okay. Mr. Willett, have there been any instances of violence between the two of you in the past?
Yeah, we have had disagreements before.
Okay. And then, sir, you were also arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you as well. Ms. Willett, do you want to have contact with your husband?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
And you guys do not live together?
No, but he come take care of my kids when I have to go to work and stuff.
I see. Ms. Bush, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Did your kids witness this incident last night?
On the night it happened, when we got into the little physical scrabble, the kids was in the room.
They were not?
No, they wasn't in the same room with us. They was in the bedroom. It happened in the living room.
All right. I'm going to order that you guys are not to have any contact with one another except for your children.
Okay.
You're to continue maintaining a separate residence, and neither of you are to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you both on pretrial release at this time. Do you have any questions about what I've ordered?
So I can, I can't get
You
to
can
see-
call him or text him if it has to do with your kids. You can see him if it has to do with your kids, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, but the charge is gonna drop or?
Well, that's not up to me, so I don't make the charging decision, that's up to the state attorney. The state attorney is gonna call both of you, or get in contact with both of you to decide or discuss what you'd like to see happen with the case, but ultimately, it's up to the state of Florida whether or not they wanna pursue the case. Even if you tell them you don't wanna go forward, they can still make the decision to do that.
Oh,
Okay, but they will reach out to both of you on each of your cases to get your input.
but like he have to stay away from me, that we trying to say like?
Yes, unless it has to do with your kids, you guys aren't to have any contact with
I'm
one
moving
another.
to Seattle in the next 2 months. So
Pardon me?
I'm moving to Seattle in the next 2 months.
To Seattle?
Washington, yeah.
Okay, well then
So-
that shouldn't be an issue.
Right.
All right.
It should be an issue or not?
With contact with you? No, but sir, if you understand this, if you move to Seattle or anywhere and the state of Florida files charges in this case and you do not appear for court, a warrant will be
I'll
issued
show
for
up
your
for court.
arrest.
It's okay.
Okay?
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Bush?
could we have a comply with DCF as well?
Yes, you'll also need to comply with any DCF requests or investigations, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning, your name?
Lee Jones.
Mr. Jones, you are here in case number 20CT287. You failed to appear for court related to a driving while license suspended case. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer for Mr. Jones on that case?
May have just a minute, sure.
And I have Mr. Jones's driving record. He doesn't have any convictions for driving while license suspended.
And that's what I needed to see.
Is that on the face sheet? It's not attached to the face sheet.
Yeah, I have it. Okay.
And I don't have the case in my system, that's what I was trying to.
Ms. Bush, it's 20 CT 287AA.
287AA, yes, Your Honor. And it's not in our system.
Oh, okay. I just thought maybe you didn't have the AA.
No, Your Honor. And the court does have a driving history before it, Your Honor. The
Yes, I have
court-
one.
The court has reviewed the driving history.
Yes.
The state's offer would be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, do not drive without a valid driver's license.
Mr. Jones, did you want to accept that offer, sir?
So time served and I'm free to go? That's what you're saying? I don't understand.
So on your case that you failed to appear for court for,
Yes.
you would be adjudicated guilty, given credit for time served, you're not to drive without a valid driver's license, and you'll have to pay court costs.
Okay.
And then that case will be over.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a chance to read the plea form before court?
Yeah, I did.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
Oh, man.
Your Honor, sorry to interrupt. Did you say he doesn't have any prior driving with license suspended on his driving record?
That's correct. Do you have different information?
I don't have the driving record in front of me, Judge.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the driving record, and all of his suspensions are for failing to pay traffic fines.
Okay. Would Your Honor be open to a bench plea for withhold of adjudication and court costs given his driving record?
Ms. Bush, did you want to look at that and see if you wanted to amend the offer?
Your Honor, based on the fact that he has a prior conviction in 2017 for a no valid driver's license, the state is not willing to convey a withhold because he has a prior conviction on his record.
Yeah, Mr. Jurgens, I would not entertain a withhold at this time.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's time served right now, but
Yeah.
just remember, 3 in 5 years will visualize you. You get 3 convictions, it's 10-day minimum jail, and it's on the 3rd charge.
So I'm just.
It's time served right now.
So I just gotta get my license.
Yeah, but you'll have a conviction on your record for this case. So,
So I'm saying, if I don't take it, and then I get my license fixed, would it be good?
if you can bond out with no license, you would, there's some chance that they would amend it to the full adjudication or a failure to display, which is a civil victory in this municipality. If you want to get out today, in a plea right now.
Okay, so more than that would be 10 months?
No, you got a failure to appear, so the bond's probably set at like 2,500. Okay.
Mr. Jones, did you still want to proceed with the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you'll be giving up on the plea form?
No, ma'am.
No? Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are going to be due by September 30th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your out on bond case, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
morning, sir. Your name?
Andre Welch.
Mr. Welch, you were here in 20 CT 837. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Welch, I'm gonna set your bond at $500. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license, sir. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you're already out on bond for driving without a driver's license in two different cases. I don't want you to tell me why you were or were not driving. I just want you to understand that you cannot drive.
Yes, ma'am, I won't.
Okay, sir. I'm not gonna take any action on those cases today. I don't want to see you back here for driving without a license.
Never again.
Thank you, sir.
Ladarius Belgrave, Your Honor, is medical.
Which section
I
is
don't have that person.
Where?
Oh, we're on arraignment. Sorry. Here we go, Judge. I have it.
Thank you. Tell me one more time, Dexter. Mr. Belgrave is what?
Medical, Your Honor.
All right. That's 20 CT 5820. Mr. Driggins, your office represents him. Do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, they canceled today's Angela arraignment and set him for PTC for December 7th.
It was already set?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Belgrave was already set for a pretrial conference on December
7th at 9 o'clock. Division 83.
tw- 2016 CT 8302. Orlean Ordonez. This one's TOT?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So that'll have to get reset.
It's set for arraignment.
It's set?
We have a bond.
Okay. 20 CT 344,
Malcolm Tyler is medical, Your Honor.
medical. This person is not, are they represented by the PD?
I'm double checking out.
Okay.
He was not appointed.
All right, well, I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Tyler.
Was the PD appointed in his felony case that's related to this, Madam Clerk?
Do you have the case number, Ms. Bush?
Yes, it's 2020 CF 5571. And I don't see,
Oh, Ms. Sweet is on the felony matter. I just don't want it to get lost. He's in jail, but not on this case, and I'm afraid that if I set it for PTC and he doesn't have a lawyer, then somehow he's gonna get an FTA, is what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender on the CT case, and then we'll give him a pretrial date. Tyler, that's gonna be Division 83. It's what?
Division 62 already?
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, it's Division 62, pretrial conference is November 12th at 9 a.m., courtroom 9B. How about Christopher Blake?
He's also medical, Your Honor.
Ms. Bush, do you have, whether or not Mr. Blake's been served? Because this indicates he has not.
I believe that he has, if my memory is serving me correctly.
Look really quickly. It's returned unserved.
Your Honor, if I may have, because over the past week, our investigator had, and I'm just looking for the investigator's notes. I thought I saw it come through as
Okay.
having been served.
Right, because the last court minutes I see are on March 4th, and it says for the state to prevent.
On 9/24, summons to appear was served, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Bush.
And that was served by Orange County Deputy Spitak, and he was served here at the jail.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Blake, and that's a Division 61 case. Pretrial conference is going to be October 19th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 6B. All right, and then 20 mm 6985 Zulika Cologne.
Can we pass by her quickly?
Sure. And then Mr. Burks? Are you Mr. Burks?
Yes.
All right, good morning, sir. This is 20 mm 249. You were arrested for trespassing in a conveyance. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Burks?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with witnesses, no return to the hometown suites on Kennedy Boulevard in Eatonville, abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Mr. Burks, did you want to accept the offer, sir?
I will.
Pardon me?
I will.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court this morning?
No, I haven't got a chance to see it.
So, Mr. Burks, we're going to hand you a copy of the plea form. I'm going to explain it to you, okay? By entering into this plea today, do you understand that this case will be over, that you're not going to have a trial on your case, and you're going to give up your right to present any defenses or call any witnesses on your own behalf? Do you understand that?
I understand.
Okay. And are you on probation?
No,
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
I do.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No,
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't return to the in-town suites or have any contact with the witnesses. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by September 30th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
okay,
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Ma'am? Ma'am, are you going to tell me your name?
Robinson.
What is it?
Robinson.
Robinson. Jean Marie? Is that right?
Yeah.
This is 20 mm 7084. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Ms. Robinson?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with witnesses, no return to the Dowdy Plaza on International Drive, and abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Ms. Robinson, did you want to accept that offer? Oh, Mr. Robinson, did you want to accept that offer?
Can you repeat that?
I can't hear you.
I need to understand what you said.
Okay, so sir, she indicated that if you wanted to accept the plea, you would be adjudicated guilty. sentenced to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days time served, and you can't go back to the plaza where you were arrested. Do you understand that?
I just don't want it to be complicated.
Pardon me?
I just don't want
All right, so I think at
things
this
to be
time what I'm gonna
complicated.
do is I'm going to, again, like I said, appoint the public defender. I'm going to stay the bond at $500, and you're not to return to the scene. Thank you. What's this one?
Cologne Rivera.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Zuleika Colon Figueroa.
Ma'am, this is 20MM 6985. This is your arraignment for the offense of trespass in a conveyance. Was there an offer for Ms. Cologne?
Yes, Your Honor. The state conveyed the offer of an adjudication of guilt, 30 days Orange County Jail, no contact with victim or witnesses, and court costs, Your Honor.
Ms. Cologne, did you want to accept that offer?
Say it again.
The offer from the state is 30 days. You've got credit for 14 days.
So yeah, for 30 days in the other for the I
I can't hear you. Could you maybe speak into the microphone?
Let's repeat again. So I got 14
The offer
days.
from the state is an adjudication of guilt, 30 days in jail. You have credit for 14. You can't return to the scene or have any contact with the victim or witnesses. Did you want to accept that offer?
I accept that.
Okay. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
All right. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 30 days in jail. You have credit for 14 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by September 30th of 2021. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the witnesses or the victim. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your name?
My name is Carl E. Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, this is case number 20MM7086. You were arrested for petty theft. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Robinson?
No, Your Honor. This is enhanceable.
Right, thank you. You working, Mr. Robinson?
No, ma'am.
Where you staying?
At the coalition.
How long you been staying there?
8 months.
All right, Mr. Robinson, you're not allowed to go back to Publix, do you understand?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from custody so that you make sure you know when your court date is.
Okay.
Okay, I believe it'll be on your paperwork, but you
Okay.
need to know how you need to appear, whether it's going to be in person or it's going to be remotely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
James Smith.
Mr. Smith, this is 20MM7087. You were arrested for battery. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is going to be $500. I am going to revoke the bond in 20MM6846. That's going to be set at none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning. Your name?
Tatiana Smith.
Ms. Smith, good morning.
What happened?
Ms. Smith, you were arrested in 20 MM 7085. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the sit-go. That's where you were arrested, ma'am. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, she is set for trial in another trespass at the same property.
Okay.
And her trial is set for November 5th.
I don't know that that's going to be going. I just looked up the other cases, and she's on conditional release in 18 CF 5823 and 20 CF 383. And that's Judge O'Kane's case, and it says remove from the trial docket.
There has not been anything filed thus far in her other.
Okay. I'm going to say the bond at $500. Thank you, ma'am. I'm not going to take any action on the other cases.
Is that,
The next week after that, it's all the 5%.
Oh, okay. On Francois. Mr. Arroyo? Good morning.
Good morning.
This is 20 CF 811. It's alleged, sir, that you have violated your probation by not reporting as directed, you haven't paid your $20 per month towards your cost of supervision, and you left your county of residence without getting permission. Your bond at this time is set at none. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. You're gonna see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Are you Mr. Francois?
Yes. ma'am.
Okay. We've got to call your attorney, so just stand by for a moment.
Okay.
Is there an updated face sheet for Mr. Francois?
I'll take it.
Hello, good morning. This is Judge Carter.
Good morning, Judge Carter. This is Attorney Andell Brown on behalf of Ken New York Francois.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Brown. This is case number 15 CF 1612. Mr. Francois, it is alleged that you have violated your probation, sir, by failing to live and remain at liberty without violating any law, namely grand theft of a motor vehicle on May 21st, 2019 in St. Lucie County, as well as possession of a vehicle with altered numbers in St. Lucie County on May 21st of 2019, and leaving your county of residence without getting permission from your probation officer. Mr. Brown, were you asking to be heard with respect to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. We would request a bond for Mr. Francois. Besides the fact that the case that is being alleged has already been adjudicated, no action in a sense of it, there was nothing filed. That case is dismissed and no longer actionable. Mr. Francois is also, employed by One Umbrella Records. He has contractual obligations that we would like for him to complete, and he, not saying that he deserves special treatment or consideration. We just want the court to know all the facts. And Mr. Francois currently has at least one video with 1 million views on YouTube, and we're trying to move forward with a productive life for him. We understand the court's position that the violation of probation must be addressed, but we would ask in the interest of justice that we be given a bond so that he can continue that, and then we can litigate the issue of whether or not a probation violation based on a charge that is dismissed is something that needs to go forward or not.
Is there an updated face sheet? No, Your Honor. They don't do, for a criminal history?
Well, he's labeled as a violent felony offender of special concern. Is that label still on there? I just wanted to make sure.
I removed it because he's in on the VOP. I removed the violent felony offender detainer because he's in on the VOP. Like they'll put that in if they're on probation, but since he's in on the VOP warrant,
Well, the only way you would be a violent felony offender of special concern is if you had a violation of probation. That's what it's for.
Your Honor, there was a prior violation of probation that was resolved on 9/14 of 2018 in this case. He was found guilty of violating his probation then.
Okay. I'm just trying to find out if he's even legally entitled to a bond. If he's labeled a violent felony offender of special concern, then I can't give him a bond. And I just want to make sure that I know that. So he is. So, Mr. Brown, even if I wanted to give Mr. Francois a bond, I cannot give him a bond as he is a violent felony offender of special concern. You'll have to file a motion in Division 19 and the judge will have to conduct the danger hearing.
Okay.
Okay,
Your
so-
Honor, we will do that. I appreciate you for hearing this matter this morning.
Sure. The next court date for Mr. Francois will be in front of, it's scheduled in front of Judge Whitehead here at the Orange County Jail. But I don't know if you can get something set in Division 19 before then.
Okay. I will have my staff work on it. I appreciate the time, and I'll be in touch. We will continue to monitor the situation with Mr. Francois.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, Mr. Francois. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Jacob Ovano.
Sir, you're here in 19 CF 6158. It's alleged that you have violated your probation. At this time, your bond is set at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, I had a hearing scheduled with him prior to them picking me up with Whitehead for tomorrow here, so I don't know if
Oh,
that's
okay. I don't know. Is that still set? I wonder.
tomorrow at 8:30, I believe.
It should be that.
It's this one?
Yeah.
Yes, tomorrow at 8 a.m. you have a status hearing with Judge Whitehead in the BRC courtroom 3.
So that's still in
It's
effect?
still set. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Joseph Arnaz Bradley.
Mr. Bradley, you are here for an on-view violation of probation out of St. Lucie County. It is alleged that you possessed a concealed firearm and ammunition, and you are a convicted felon. There's probable cause for the violation of probation. I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you in coordinating with St. Lucie County. At this time, your bond will be set at none, sir. And the public defender's office will be in touch with you. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Terrence Mills.
What is it?
Terrence Mills.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
It's okay.
Scott Klaus is refusal.
All right, I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. These are out-of-county warrants from Volusia County. His bonds will remain as set. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him to coordinate with Volusia County.
I have one bond at none and the other one at 1,000.
On carrying a concealed weapon and driving without a driver's license?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just making sure my minutes are right.
And then Rosetta Jackson?
She's also a refusal, Your Honor.
All right, I'll find a waiver of her appearance based upon her refusal to come to court in the Seminole County warrant case. Her bond is $5,000. I'll appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent her. In Malagon?
Terrence Mills.
Yes, Mr. Mills, I'm trying to get to your case, but how about Mr. Malagon?
You have an inmate number, Your Honor?
Yes, it's a writ. Oh, this shouldn't be in here.
It's out of county or Orange County?
Oh, no, it isn't out of county, so it should be, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
The inmate number, maybe he purged, 2002-1326.
Keep on it, Your Honor.
Okay, great. All right, Mr. Mills? Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, you were here for a violation of probation out of Volusia County. I'll appoint the Orange County Public Defender here to represent you. It's alleged that you violated your probation by committing the new law offense of false imprisonment, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence in case number 20 CF 11695 on September 27th of this year. There's probable cause for the violation of probation, sir. At this time, your bond will be set at none on the violation of probation, and I've appointed the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Volusia County. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Reyes, ma'am. Reyes Isaac.
Mr. Reyes, you're here for an out-of-county warrant out of Pasco County. It's for a violation of probation. Your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you and help you coordinate with Pasco County, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Yes.
So does that mean that I will continue to do court proceedings here in Orange County on the account of that violation of probation?
Yes.
And is it specifically a technical or a new charge
I
violation?
don't know. I don't have, all they give me is the teletype, so I don't have the actual affidavit of violation of probation, so I don't know what the allegations are. You'll want to get, again, with the public defender here or a lawyer, and they'll be able to get that information for you and go over it with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Michael Santiago.
Mr. Santiago, you're here for an out-of-county warrant out of Monroe County. It's a violation of probation. Your bond is set at $10,000. I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you coordinate with Monroe County.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Matthew Watson.
Mr. Watson, you're here for a warrant out of Osceola County related to grand theft of an automobile and grand theft third degree. At this time, the bond is set at none, sir. I will appoint the public defender to represent you and help you coordinate with Osceola County.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Sure.
So is there a way that I can get a bond set or?
You'll need to have your lawyer file a bond motion with the judge who issued the warrant.
So,
Right, it's a violation of probation. Yeah, it's a bench warrant. So you'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion. Thank you. All right. Ms. Bush, were you all set on the 33-day motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is from the add-on. 20 CF 9812 Malik Stubbs.
A notice of non-filing was filed on September 28th.
That will be granted. 20 CF 10470 Joel Abreu.
Notice of non-filing on September 29th.
That will be granted. I have a little freedom Good morning, or good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Antoine Maurice Davis.
Mr. Davis, you're here in 20 CF 6897, sir. You failed to appear for arraignment on September 1st of this year. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you if they weren't previously appointed. They'll need to file a bond motion in Division 11.
Your Honor, I had the misunderstanding. I was in court that day and they didn't accept my affidavit at the clerk of the court. So a lady named Leslie Sweet, that's attorney that I knew, she kept filing emails and she filled out I filled out my affidavit and she turned it back in to the court. And I've been waiting. I'm assigned to a public defender, and I just been waiting forever to like get in contact with the public defender before he can get me back in front of the judge.
I don't know what you mean by when you say you were at court and you filled out the affidavit.
Yeah, it's the new courtroom downtown Orlando.
Okay.
It's in the back room. I was late. Facts.
Okay.
I was late.
Okay.
And when I did come, that they gave me, they told me to go to the public defender place. And I went over there, and then the public defender told me to fill out an affidavit to saying how, cause I'm punting to them. And I filled them out, and they filled it out, and they told me to take it back to the clerk of the courts. So when I did take it back to the clerk of the courts, I guess it didn't go in with the file with the rest of the people that went to arraignment that day, and that's how I ended up with this CAPIS. But like I said, Your Honor, Leslie Sweet got a paper from the ombudsman, and that said that he wouldn't mind reinstate my bond and sent it all over there to a judge. And she said that I needed to fill the affidavit out again, which I did, and emailed it to Leslie Sweet, and she emailed it to the judge, and the Aquarium Mirror attorney, and like I said, me and Leslie Sweet been like trying to get in contact with the public defender office to find out what day is my court date, because I'm out on bond for failure to be registered, and my register date is coming up like on the 2nd of this month. So we was trying to get this situation taken care of, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Davis, your lawyer had already filed a motion to quash the capias and it was denied. So I'm not gonna revisit that issue. You'll have to have your lawyer, it looks like they did file a motion to reconsider. So the judge who's assigned to the case is gonna have to review that motion, sir.
Oh, it was what day was it filed on? You mind telling
The
me?
order denying it was on September 17th. I see the information from the bondsman, as you stated. It was as denied on the 17th of September. Your lawyer filed a motion to reconsider actually yesterday. So now that it's been executed, they can't quash it. So you're gonna have to see if you can get a bond motion, okay? But it looks like your lawyer's on top of your case.
Do you know who my lawyer is? Because I kept calling the public defender and leaving a
It
message.
doesn't tell me that. It just says the Office of the Public Defender.
All right.
Okay? Thank you,
you.
sir. And Mr. Davis, you have reporting requirements when you're released, okay?
Say that again, ma'am?
You have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail.
To report to the register or report to the public defender office?
You need to report to the sheriff's office because you have registration requirements, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Say again?
Your name?
Oh, Calvin Duncan.
Mr. Duncan, this is 20 CF 11795. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Pre-trial release?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I get out today?
It does.
Any
Okay,
conditions, Your
thank you.
Honor?
I don't get the plea now? Because I'm
No,
pleading
it's a
not
felony. You
guilty.
can't plead initial appearance.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you. No conditions.
All right, thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Michael Payson.
Sir, you were here in 20 CF 7743. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. The bond is $1,000. You're not to return to the Walmart. And the offense date in the information is May 18th of 2019. So this case predates all the other cases that you're out on bond for, sir. And I'm not going to take any action on those cases.
Excuse me, ma'am.
So I'm not revoking any of your bonds. The new
Right.
case, the offense date alleged is before any of those cases.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, your name?
Olanov Guli.
How about Mr. Garcia? Medical? Okay. All right, I'll reset that for 24 hours after he's released from the hospital. Mr. Gooley,
Yes, ma'am.
you are here in case number 20 CF 11781. You were arrested for tampering with physical evidence, resisting officer without violence, and trespass. Mr. Gergen, do you have a probable cause challenge?
Yes, Your Honor. If I could be heard briefly on the tampering with the evidence
Sure, go
charge.
ahead.
Looking at the facts of this case, it could easily be read that this was merely abandoning the physical evidence by placing it on the shelf. In Thomas versus State, 581 Southern 2nd 993, the second DCA held that merely abandoning the evidence would not constitute tampering with the evidence. In Obis v. State, 935 Southern 2nd 34, the fourth DCA similarly held the same thing. Because the officer was in sight of Mr. Guili, I don't think this would constitute concealment because he saw Mr. Guili set the items down on the shelf.
All right, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor. It's not just that Mr. Geely was within sight of the officer. The officer had actually approached him, called out to him, told him to stop. He continued going away from the officer, and then at that point, he placed the items on the shelf in the restaurant. The state would assert that he was aware that the officer was approaching him. He was aware that the officer wanted to speak with him, and he continued to walk away from the officer, attempted to hide the contents of the satchel, and that this did constitute tampering with the evidence. However, Your Honor, the state does not have a copy of the two cases cited by Mr. Juergens, and therefore the state cannot respond to the citations that Mr. Juergens. I can't determine whether or not the facts in those cases were similar or not.
Okay. I do find that there is probable cause based upon all the facts contained in the affidavit. I think that based upon the facts, a reasonable person would conclude that the offense had been committed, and the statute states that the crime is committed when during an investigation the person attempts to alter, destroy, conceal, or remove the item with the purpose of impairing its severity or availability in the investigation. So I think the facts there have been met. So I do find that there's probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 1,000, bond on count 2 is 100, bond on count 3 is 100. Mr. Guili, I'm also revoking the bond on the out on bond form. The place of offense is the same place as it was in the out on bond case, so that bond's going to be set at none. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name?
Drew Hunt.
Mr. Hunt, you're here in 20 CF 11796. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond, sir, will be $500. And then you failed to appear in 20 MM 5499 for your arraignment on the offense of petty theft. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Hunt on that case?
If the court will give me a moment, I did not review the case to extend an offer.
Mr. Hunt, would you be interested in resolving that petty theft case today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And Your Honor, that case number is
20 MM 5499. It was a theft from Walmart. It was a notice to appear.
I see. We have it with the last name as Drew as opposed to Hunt. And I need just a moment to see if there's any restitution, Your Honor.
Sure, no problem.
Honor, as he has a prior grand theft conviction, the state's offer would be an adjudication of guilt, 7 days, Orange County Jail, credit for whatever time he has served, no return to the Walmart, no contact with victim or witnesses, abide by trespass warning, order and reserve as to restitution.
All right, Mr. Hunt, did you want to accept the offer?
She said there was restitution on that?
She's going to order and reserve. You can't tell by the affidavit if they were able to reuse the beverage items that were part of what was taken, so she needs to find out from Walmart if there's any restitution, so I would order it and reserve as to the amount for 30 days. So the offer is an adjudication of guilt, 7 days in jail with, you have credit for 1. You can't return to the Walmart, you have to abide by the trespass warning, can't have any contact with the witnesses or the victim, and then if there's any restitution for the items that were taken.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to take the offer? Okay, did you read the plea form before court?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hunt, you have to answer my questions out
Yes,
loud.
ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
All right, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days in jail. You've got credit for 1. You're not to return to the Walmart. You're not to have contact with the witnesses or the victim. You have to abide by the trespass warning. I'll order restitution and reserve as to the amount for 30 days. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by September 30th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you, sir.
You didn't have one close finger on the.
On the what?
The F-30.
Nope. Good afternoon, your name?
Al Pacino Jr.
Sir, you are here in case number 20 CF 11734. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances.
May you repeat that, please? Pardon me. Pardon me.
That's okay. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You will be tested through pretrial release, and I'm not going to revoke your bond on your out on bond case. Thank you.
So I can bond out?
Yes, sir.
Please and thank you very much. Truly appreciate you.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Antoine Latson.
Mr. Latson, you have two cases. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both. In 20 CF 11730, you were arrested for possession of cannabis within 1,000 feet of a convenience store with intent to sell, possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a weapon in the commission of a felony, and purchase of a controlled substance. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender, as I said. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on counts 2 and 3 will be $150. Count 4, $100. 5 and 6, $150. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any controlled substances without a valid prescription. You also were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 20 CF 11202 for possession of a firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, possession of oxycodone, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. Bond on count 1 will be $2,500. Bond on count 2 will be $150. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on count 4, $150. Again, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I am going to revoke all the bonds in the out on bond cases, and those will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
And am I allowed to speak?
Pardon me?
Am I allowed to speak?
Well, listen, I don't want you to talk about the facts of your cases.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that none of my charges. I've been having charges for like almost a year, and none of them been filed or anything like that.
Okay.
So I would like to not have my bond revoked, but
That's not going to happen today.
All
Okay?
right.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Jamil Lalane.
Mr. Lalane, you have two cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. We have two. You have three? Is that the same one? Oh, it's the same one. The out of county is the same case. So you have 20 CF 11789. You were arrested for aggravated fleeing and eluding with property damage, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams, resisting officer with violence, resisting officer without violence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 3, $150. Bond on count 4, $150. 5, $150. 6, $100. 7, $100. And then that case provides the probable cause for your violation of probation out of St. Lucie County. And in that matter, sir, your bond is going to be set at none. You'll have to coordinate with the public defender here in Orange County on that St. Lucie County case. Thank you, sir. Did Luma bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Just give me 1 second. Are you Mr. Martin?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martin, you are here in case number 20 CF 11793. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Martin, you're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Thank you, ma'am.
You need to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release from custody so that they have good contact information for you, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
Albert McDonald, ma'am.
Mr. McDonald, you're here in 20 CF 11734. You were arrested for driving while license suspended as a habitual offender. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you.
Darian Montgomery.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. You are here in case number 20 CF 11779. You were arrested for possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond's $2,500, sir. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Prince Osanat.
Mr. Osanat, this is 20 CF 11764. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein and criminal mischief. There's
Yeah.
probable cause for the offenses, sir. Mr. Osanat, your affidavit seeking the appointment of the public defender indicates that you make $1,600 every 2 weeks. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Osanat, you do not qualify for the office of the public defender. You're going to need to try and hire a lawyer to help you with this case. All right?
Okay, ma'am. Well.
Ms. Bush, were you asking to be
I
heard
was
with
just
respect to
under,
bond
like,
on
the
count
huge
one? Mr. Osanat, I just need you to, I'll
discount
give you a
percentage?
moment to speak. I just need you to wait a minute, okay?
Well, at the time, it was in like.
Yes, Your Honor, the state was.
All right, go ahead.
The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts contained in the sworn arrest affidavit. Those facts were derived from the victim in this matter. The victim provided facts about an individual that came to his home, said he was lost, and then as the time proceeded, as the victim was attempting to help Mr. Osanat, that's when Mr. Osanat did enter the home and did commit a battery on the victim.
Well, that was all
The
wrong.
victim later,
That was all wrong.
the victim later identified Mr. Osanat
No,
as
it's
the
out-
individual
that's out of the
that
question.
did
That was
Mr.
all
Osanat,
wrong.
you cannot
That-
speak
they-
right now.
that was
Mr.
on to
Osanat,
me.
if you don't stop talking, I'm going to make you leave the courtroom.
No, that was on to me. It was all a
Mr.
discretion.
Osanat, stop talking. If I have to tell you again,
Like-
you are leaving.
It was.
Okay,
just-
Dexter, can you remove him from the courtroom, please? Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Bush, go ahead.
Your Honor, the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Osanat is the person that was in the custody of law enforcement and that the victim positively identified him as they were driving up and yelled out, "That's him right there." And the state would ask the court to hold Mr. Osanat at no bond on the sole count, on count one, burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein.
Mr. Jurgens, did you want to respond?
Yes, I know we weren't appointed, but as a friend of the court, if I could.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so upon reading the affidavit, I don't think the underlying intent to commit an offense occurred upon entering the dwelling. From the facts I read in the affidavit, Mr. Osanat was sitting in the couch waiting to be picked up by a taxi. He was agitated, seemed like he was having some sort of mental health issues, which may explain the outburst just now. The subsequent offense didn't happen until much later, or not much later, but until after he'd been sitting there for a little while. And additionally, the door was ajar, so he just kind of walked in. He didn't have a forcible entry. I don't see an underlying intent to commit a battery upon entering the dwelling.
Your Honor, may the state respond?
Sure.
Your Honor, though Mr. Ocelot entered the home, once he entered the home, the victim told him to get out of his home. And it was at that time, whether or not it was his intent to batter the victim when he entered, he did enter the home without permission. He was told to leave, refused to leave the home. And if there was any thought that there was an invitation previously because the door was ajar, then when the victim told him to leave, that withdrew that invitation, and it was then that he did commit the battery. So he did burglarize the dwelling, and he did commit a battery. Once he entered, the battery would be the crime therein, Your Honor.
Well, I did find probable cause for the offense to begin with. And I do believe that the state has met their burden to establish that there is proof evident or presumption great at this time based upon the information that's contained in the sworn affidavit for his arrest. I am going to appoint the public defender's office, though, since Mr. Ocenot is not going to have a bond, and I do have some concerns about his mental health, so I am going to appoint the public defender. I'm going to make the correction on his affidavit. Just going to write court appointed. Bond on count 1 will remain at none. Bond on count 2 is $500. He's not to return to the scene. He's not to have any contact with the victim, and he's not to possess any weapons or firearms. Yeah, that was an error. That should never have been set at 7,500. Good afternoon. Your name?
Sean Pope.
Mr. Polk, you're here in 20 CF 11756. You were arrested for robbery with a firearm, aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony, burglary of a structure or a conveyance while armed, and petty theft. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You also have 20 CF 11772, where you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for carrying a concealed firearm. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case as well, and your bond is set at $1,000. Ms. Bush, did you want to be heard with respect to bond on count 1 in the 11756 matter?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts contained in the arrest affidavit. The arrest affidavit is a sworn document. In that document, the facts lead from the victim and the witness to the identification of Mr. Polk, and they did identify Mr. Polk as the person that did commit the robbery with the firearm, the aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony. And the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident, presumption is great, that those facts and Mr. Polk being so identified, that the proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Polk is the person that was so identified in the facts, and hold him at no bond as to count 3 and count 1 of the charges.
Mr. Jurgens, did you want to respond?
Your Honor, I would just defer to the court's discretion.
Okay, so the state's met their burden in establishing proof evident or presumption great based upon the information contained in the affidavit, including the admissions of Mr. Polk. So bond on count 1 and count 3 will remain at none. Bond on count 2 will be set at $2,500. Bond on count 3 will be set at $1,000. Mr. Polk, you are not to return to the scene. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Thank you.
Angela Pence is in the hospital, Your Honor.
We'll reset Ms. Pence for 24 hours after she's been released from the hospital. Good afternoon, your name?
Joshua Robinson.
Mr. Robinson, you are here in 20 CF 11798. You were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, assault on a public transit employee, and trespass after a warning in a conveyance. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to abide by the trespass warning. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on counts 2 and 3 is $100. Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Raymond Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, you are here in 20 CF 11750. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. I'm revoking the bonds in 20 CF 6225 and 20 CF 1923. Those are going to be set at none, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Kevin Solomon.
Mr. Solomon, you're here in 20 CF 11733. You were arrested for burglary of a structure while wearing a mask, petty theft, and criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Solomon, you're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Your Honors, is this the burglary of a structure while wearing a mask?
Correct. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Tabitha Statham.
Ma'am, you have 2 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. You've got 20 CF 8713. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for defrauding an innkeeper. Your bond is $843. And in 20 CF 11803, you were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I will again appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Your bond is $1,000,
What
ma'am.
victim would that be?
The person whose car it was that was stolen.
That's the thing, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that.
Public defender can talk about
Okay.
the facts of your case.
Okay.
Just wait a little bit. They'll get in touch.
And Your Honor, on the warrant case?
Yes.
The bond was how much?
$843.
I just wanted
And
to
it's
be
cash
sure.
only.
Okay. I was wanting to be sure I heard it.
Yeah, that's what's written on the KPS.
Yeah.
I think that's the amount of the bill at the hotel.
So the 800 is, I have to pay that in full.
Correct, it's cash only, the 843.
Rahel Faithful, bonded.
Good afternoon, sir, your name?
Kareem Ward.
Mr. Ward, you're here in 20 CF 11794. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. There's probable cause, sir. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim, and you're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond will be $2,500. I'm revoking the bond And 20 CF 4272, that's going to be set at none.
I'm sorry?
The bond that you're out on, I revoked that. That's set at none, so your lawyer's gonna have to file a bond motion in front of the trial judge.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. Ms. Bush, are you okay?
I've got a headache that is building very quickly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm prone to migraines.
Oh.
And the goggles sometimes.
I'm sorry, okay.
Oh.
Are we finished? Is there
Thank you for
anything
asking.
else? Anything else?
No.
All right, then we'll be in recess. I hope you